Opponents are always almost too worried about him.
My coach Talmadge took me to the gym. That's the only gym I knew. Because I'm a competitor. I don't want to let one day slip by where I'm thinking someone's outboxing me or someone's out
me out there to doing a clinic for coaches. Man, I hope none of them see this. But I was great for them. But yes, get us the media passes.
Yeah,
we're there.
I got
We'll interview there. We'll record there. We'll do
my day to day. I'm at peace with the fight.
Yeah.
The moment I wake up to that, you know what's crazy is like I have total of 15 fights pro.
For real?
That's
15 face-offs.
15 face.
It says, the psychological state in which athletes enter a competition is crucial because it sets the tone for the upcoming performance. If athletes have confidence in their abilities, they're likely to perform tasks at automated efficiency and realize their full performance potential. Highly motivated athletes are likely to engage and persist in a competition, which again prompts performance increases. Conversely, anxious athletes are prone to experience concentration disruptions and performance decrements. Experiences of anxiety have been linked to decreases in athlete sport involvement and adherence, whereas enjoyment relates to increases in these outcomes. And what I noticed is not even in just the performances where you're fighting, but in pre-performances where you're warming up or your ring walk, which is fun and engaging and spectacular. And then even in your training, I notice that you're always having fun, you're dancing, you're having a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, she's confident. She enjoys what she's doing. You don't look like you're this stressed, anxious person. No. Like, so in terms of what I said, do you think that those are like your mentality and your overall enjoyment and just fun type of demeanor plays into your overall performance outcomes?
1,000%.
Describe that for me.
1,000%. When I go out there and I'm just present in the moment, enjoying it, having fun, embracing it, it's almost like there's nothing holding me back. Like you said, if you're anxious and you're worried about little things, the confidence, this and that, who's watching or whatever it is, it's almost like you have something in your head. Mm-hmm. When I'm in the cage or when I'm in the ring, my mind is blank, but I'm fully present in the moment, and like I'm expressing the love of life right there in that moment, and it's just go.
Because I notice it looks like you have a lot of fun.
I do.
And it's consistent. It's not here and there. Like it's almost on every reel of yours that I saw, you're having fun.
Yeah.
Or you'll hop on live and you're having fun.
Yeah.
And like if I'm thinking back to what I just read, that literature, the ones that enjoy it, the ones that have that confidence has everything to do with why they're able to perform, the way they want to perform at least.
I absolutely 10,000% believe it. There's something, when there's no worry, when there's no concern about absolutely anything, and you're just present in the moment and enjoying it, because I truly enjoy this. This is what I love to do. I enjoy it, and I'm free.
You think that's why you have the confidence that you have? Is not so just much because of the skills, are a result of the work that you put in and whatnot, but the quality of work has everything to do with how much you actually enjoy it, right? But I guess my question is, do you think that that's why you don't have anxieties, because you just enjoy it so well? Do you think that's why you're confident, because the enjoyment factor?
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with it. I think the confidence also comes from the work.
Yeah.
There's no type of amount of fun that gives me more confidence than my work. Than the work. Absolutely. Now you match it work and fun. Where I match the amount of fun I have, I match it with the amount of work I put in. Combine that together, you have yourself a dangerous fighter.
Who taught you that? Is that something you just figured out along the way naturally, or have you looked at the stuff I've been reading? Because the stuff I've been reading, it turns out that enjoyment is totally linked to confidence, and confidence is linked to success outcomes and whatnot. And the people that struggle the most at some point in their career, even as amateurs, is the ones that don't enjoy it anymore. It's not fun anymore. Whether you're an amateur, whether you're professional.
Yeah, but no, I think it's naturally going. I think over time, experiencing in life, this is how I view it. You know what I'm saying? Like For me, it takes more energy to be negative, to be in a bad mood.
We were just talking about this.
It takes more energy from me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's much lighter work. When you're having fun and you're enjoying it, it's just light and it's more, everything is much more, just better.
Yeah,
Just better when,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
you know, you're having fun, you're enjoying what you do. Life is just
Better quality of life.
yeah, better quality of life.
Eyes open to opportunities as opposed to being narrowly minded or closed off, and you miss a lot of opportunities that you would otherwise enjoy and have fun in and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So you enjoy two careers simultaneously, in a way in the same space, but you fight as a pro boxer as well as a pro MMA fighter,
I do.
which is interesting. Not a lot of people are doing both of those things.
Simultaneously?
Yeah.
I don't think really anybody's really doing it simultaneously or wanting to do it simultaneously.
So do you enjoy one over the other, or?
No, it's really how I wake up that day. Like I said, it's like, which kid do you prefer? Depends which one acts better which day, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up and I just want to be slick, smooth, spinning elbows, jumping knees, and then sometimes I just want to plant my feet down and just go out al tú por tú.
Do you find it more challenging, just from an IQ standpoint, when you're confined to just your hands, hand-to-hand combat?
No, it's more complicated. MMA is much more complicated. It's weird because it takes more IQ, more intelligence, because you have so many different games that you have to understand. But at the same time, I feel freer in MMA because I'm open to use my entire body. And there's times where in boxing, I'm almost, just feel restricted.
So does that become an obstacle for you in boxing at all? Like, in your mind, does that become an obstacle? It's like, well shit, I'm limited.
I'm limited in the fact where it's an obstacle, not really an obstacle. I just see the opportunities when I'm sparring or when I'm
like, nope,
boxing.
can't
I'm
do
not
that.
like, I just kind of just smile. I'm like, if I could have head kicked you right then and there, boom, you would have been out. But I don't consider it, really an obstacle. It's just.
So you have a love for both.
Yes, completely.
And there's not one you prefer over the other necessarily.
Nah, I love fighting. I don't know. I'm a competitor. You know what I'm saying? And when I realized that I was up to par in boxing, MMA has always been the dream since I could remember, since I was a kid. It's been MMA.
Yeah, you told me that because it started with wanting to be a wrestling superstar, right?
Yeah, WWE superstar. It did. Listen. I
love me a
little RKO. I'm just saying. But over time, being in the sport, being in the business, I realized that I was up to par and at the highest level in boxing. And now it became a challenge to myself because I'm a competitor at the end of the day. I was like, these girls ain't that good. Let me see what I can do.
Did you have amateur fights in either MMA or boxing?
So I only had one amateur MMA fight.
Okay.
And then 3 months after that, I went pro. So when I started training, 3 months after that, I took my first amateur MMA, and then 3 months after that, I went pro.
Damn.
And just jumped in the deep end.
So it was MMA first.
MMA has always been the first.
And then if I remember correct, you had already had a background though, like in martial arts though, coming up, right?
Yeah. So I did judo from the age of about 7 to about 13.
Damn.
Yes.
Were you competing during that time?
Oh yeah.
In like judo tournaments and whatnot?
Oh, I was ranked number 1.
Oh, so that was considered amateur then, huh?
Was it? Oh yeah, but it's
amateur.
judo. It's like
you would strike here.
No, judo is complete body, hip throws.
So you have an amateur background then?
In martial arts.
From a martial arts.
Martial arts standpoint, yes, I do.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so then how did the boxing come into play? Like, well, no, let me back up there.
Okay.
When did you decide to even get into competing? Like, how old were you whenever you started? Not the judo stuff, but like the mixed martial arts stuff. How old were you?
I started training when I was 19. Kind of late, really, really late if you think about it. Started training when I was 19.
With consideration to the judo background, though.
Yeah, because, well, like, judo, I did it as a kid, like a hobby.
Right.
But I was good. I competed and I was good. I was ranked nationally, whatever. But there's no profession in that, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't see myself as the dream has
Unless
never.
you're Steven Seagal.
Yeah, or like I've never seen myself trying to go to the Olympics, trying to you know win gold medals. That was never.
Competing in front of Vladimir Putin and stuff for his enjoyment.
Yeah, no, that's never been you know my thing. And then, but like I said, I was a WWE fan. I thought that was real fighting, but I knew I wanted to fight. And then as you know, you get older, I knew what the UFC was or what MMA was. That when I was 14, 15 years old, that was the dream where it started kind of, you know, forming.
Yeah.
And then I went to college for a year, decided, fuck that. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
I decided, you know, fuck that. It's just, I'm gonna go after what I want.
You were in college studying to be
a nurse. Yeah, that shit wasn't gonna work out.
You did that for how long in college?
I did 2 semesters. 2 semesters.
You didn't enjoy those semesters at all?
Listen, let's just say I wasn't in class.
You said you were in Abilene, right?
Yeah, Abilene, in West Texas.
Yeah,
Abilene.
that's why I was born in Abilene.
That's a small world.
Yeah, real small world.
Texas is a big state, but small world.
So it was during college that you ran into like doing mixed martial arts? Was it out there in Abilene or when you came back home?
So I started doing jiu-jitsu as
in Abilene?
In Abilene, just.
Where at in Abilene?
It's zombie Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
For real?
Yeah.
They're still doing that out there?
Yeah, the gym's still out there. Yeah.
In Abilene.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I started over there. I met Coach Tom, and he said we're gonna go spar in Fort Worth, and I was like, okay. He's like, you want to go?
Yeah.
I had just been training for like 2 months. I was like, all right, sure.
You had no intention to actually. You were just doing it just because, like.
No, See, that's the thing. You know, I wanted to.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know where to start to be a fighter.
So that's where you were starting.
So I was just. Fuck it. I just walked into the gym.
Okay.
Went for it. And then I'll tell you the exact moment where I knew I was gonna quit school. I was working as a Chinese delivery driver.
You told me about that.
Yeah, I was working as a Chinese delivery driver, and we got an order to the hospital. Now, mind you,
That sounds like a martial arts movie, by the way.
You're right.
We make a movie about it. Yeah.
And we had an order to the hospital, and like I said, I was going for school for nursing, and I was taking the food, and I'm walking towards the nursing station, and I see these workers, no shade towards them, but they look absolutely miserable. They looked absolutely miserable, and I remember walking towards them. I dropped the food off, and I was like, absolutely not.
That's not gonna be me.
That's not gonna be me. That's not gonna be me. And in that moment, I knew I was gonna drop out of school and be a fighter.
Who were these poor workers again?
Listen, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. You were my inspiration.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the exact moment I knew that I was gonna drop out of school and chase my dream.
And so you ended up sparring in Fort Worth. And what happened?
Sparring in Fort Worth is the gym in Arlington, Texas, actually, Arlington.
Okay.
So we went. I did good against the girls that were there. You know, I was a nobody. You know, no training. And we go back. I finished the semester in school. On the way, I dropped out of college. On the way back to my house.
Yeah.
All the shit from my dorm in the back, my truck.
Oh, you were in a dorm and everything?
I was in a dorm.
So you had to go all in.
I was going to do it. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
ACU, right?
ACU.
Yeah.
And Coach Tom had took me to the gym. That's the only gym I knew. I stopped on the way home, signed up, and never looked back.
How'd you do in that sparring?
I handle myself.
You just skipped it.
No, I handle myself.
Yeah.
I've always been able, like I've always said it. No one's gonna ragdoll me.
Yeah.
No one's gonna run me over. I don't care what sport we're playing. I don't care what we're doing.
Right.
You're not just gonna dog walk me.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So you have that gritty.
I got the dog in me.
Yeah. That's good to know.
Might be a chihuahua, but I got the dog in me though.
Okay, so did you hang around Abilene after that and continue training over there? You're like, okay, I'm gonna come back home
absolutely
and train
not.
at home.
That's it. Came back home and started training.
Where at?
Started training at the gym. That's where I met my boxing coach, Jose Hernandez. And funny story on how I met my MMA coach. The head coach, Coach Josh, that was at the gym, took another job in Houston.
Yeah.
So he was leaving. The gym was looking for a new head coach, MMA coach. Coach Stephen Wright, who's my head coach now, was going to take over the program. That day that we met, I had gone early. I'm talking 3 hours early before the class. The
Yeah.
gym was open though, so I would just go in the gym, shadow box, just work.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
work. You do something. And I see them walk by. I don't know who these people are. I don't know. I'm new. And he's checking out the gym because he's going to take over the program. He comes up to me. He's like, hey, he introduced himself. I introduced myself. And we just start chatting it up. I remember he said, he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I'm going to be the best among the best.
Yeah.
And the gym ended up going with a different head coach. If I hadn't shown up that day early or he hadn't gone that day, I would have never met my head coach.
So you followed him to where he went?
I followed him to where he went.
Because it was just a good conversation?
When you meet good people and you can sense
The
good
chemistry was
energy
there.
and the chemistry was
I
there.
noticed you look at me and give me a head nod when you say that, so I'm going to assume.
Yeah, you have good energy, Josh. You have great energy. But I feel like I have a good head on my shoulders to where I can sense when someone is at least half genuine.
Yeah.
And I followed him because, like I said, the head coach was leaving, so I was like, okay.
So you followed him, and then you ended up getting an opportunity for your pro MMA debut with him? Is that how that came across?
Yes.
Tell me how that happened.
We met. I followed him to his gym. Now, mind you, I'm still training because my boxing coach was still at the gym in Arlington. So
at that time, you knew you were going to train for both boxing and MMA?
No, but when, like you said, when you just click with this is how I think. When a coach decides to invest in you, you go all in. When someone puts their energy towards me, I'm going to,
So he had decided that you were going to box too?
No, but he put his time into me to train me. So I'm going to put the time in to show up every single day.
But at this point, there was no thought in your mind that, hey, I'm going to box as well as do MMA.
No. When me and my boxing coach, Coach Jose, met, I told him, it was like, I'm an MMA fighter.
I'm just, doing this to get the technical boxing work.
But he saw something in me where he just wanted to work. He wanted to help me.
But the pro debut for MMA came first.
Yes.
How'd that come up?
So I took 3 months after I started training with Coach Steven, we took an amateur fight, and then I was just in the gym. He's like, you know what? I remember he says, like, I'm going to have a show. You're going to go pro. He's like,
it was his pro show.
It was his pro show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where was this at?
Fort Worth.
Where did y'all fight at?
The Ridge League Theater, actually.
What?
Yeah. So.
How long ago was that?
This was 2019.
So you've been pro since 2019.
It's been pro since 2019.
And I imagine you won that fight.
Knockout in the first round.
Went well. Yeah. And then how many MMA fights did you do before the whole boxing debut came up?
Let me tell you about the boxing debut. Okay. So Coach Steven was having another show. He was a promoter, so he's putting on another show. I was supposed to fight an MMA.
Yeah.
MMA in a ring.
In a boxing
ring. If the boxing ring has 4 ropes, it can be considered a cage.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So my opponent dropped, and then there was another boxing girls fight on the card, and one of the opponents dropped because of COVID.
Yeah.
And my opponent dropped, and he's like, "You want to box?"
So they had MMA and boxing on the same card.
Yeah, on the same card because you can
so
do
you were
MMA.
out of an MMA fight, and he's like, "Well, I got this other opportunity for you."
I mean, like, I've always simultaneously been training boxing and MMA at the same time.
But you didn't have an intention to actually box. But that opportunity came up. You did it.
I took it.
And it went well, I would imagine, right?
Yeah. Finished in the 3rd round.
Really? Yeah. And you knew in that fight that you were confined to just your hands, although like the whole time you were training to do MMA, your ambitions were MMA.
Yeah.
Now you find yourself in an opportunity where you had to box. It was an opportunity, of course.
I'm not going to say no to a fight.
That wasn't difficult to just box, though?
Nah. Like, and that was, everything happened, I remember it was like 4 days before the fight.
Yeah.
My opponent dropped, my boxing opponent's opponent dropped, and they were like, well, you want to box? Dale.
Man.
I just,
like in the moment of an MMA fight, do you ever forget, oh wait, I could use my
Yeah, that's the other side of it.
You ever like halfway throw it, lift the knee, you're like, oh yeah. No.
Nah, everybody asks me that, and I just,
The only reason we're
don't
curious
have that.
is because it's like, it's the fight
It's a
game,
switch,
right?
yeah.
Training is so rigorous. And if you fight instinctively, that's one thing. But if you fight based on strategy and technique, and that's what you focused on for 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, and then now the next 6 weeks, 7, 8 weeks, it's like there's the ability to use more than just the technical punches and what that isn't ever.
It never crosses my mind. I never think it. I get the question a lot, if I ever want to throw a kick in a boxing fight, but it's never. I always see the opportunity. I always see the openings. I'm like, I could.
But you have the discipline.
Yes,
You
the
have
discipline and I'm present in the moment.
That's
like, you know what I'm
interesting.
saying? If I'm in a ring, I'm in a boxing fight.
Yeah.
I know that I can't throw elbows. I know that I can't throw
yeah,
knees.
yeah.
It doesn't even cross my mind. It's like the switch, a flip switches, and it's like, now we're boxing. Now we're doing MMA.
Do you ever see yourself at one point having to choose between the two? Maybe because one of them is taking off more than the other, and with that becomes the demand of having to be more present in one over the other. Do you ever see that happening?
I do see it happening. Because right now you can say I'm a professional fighter, but it's almost like a regional level. I'm not on the world stage yet. I did fight the PBC fight.
I was going to talk about that.
I did fight the
PBC. Don't steal my thunder.
I was on the world stage,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not necessarily just yet on the world stage as in UFC, or I don't hold any belts in boxing just yet. The moment that comes across my table, I will have to choose. And I've always said I can't determine that. Time will determine that. But as of right now, what I can control is the fights that I take now. And I want to take every fight in boxing and in MMA. You know what I'm saying? But the moment that a big contract with big money attached to it comes to me,
you're ready to take on
I'm ready to take on whichever challenge presents itself first.
So you just said this, so I'm gonna talk about it now.
Let's talk about it.
You were on a big PBC card recently.
Yes.
It was the David Benavidez and David Morrell, and you were the opening fight. Yes.
Yes, sir. That was an open fight.
Man, that was a big fight.
That was a big stage.
And you were a part of that. Like, how did that opportunity even come up?
My opponent had the fight schedule. She was part of the Benavidez camp. I guess no one wanted to fight the girl. And my guy, Louis Villarreal from San Antonio, he calls me on 11 days notice. He says...
11 days notice?
11 days notice. He's like, no one wants to fight the girl?
She had a full camp. You had 11 days.
She had a full camp.
And you were probably doing a combination of MMA too.
Yeah. No, I always train. Funny you say that because everyone's like, oh, do you focus certain training camps? I was like, I've never had a training camp in my career.
For real?
I've never had a training camp. All of my fights have been short notice. This fight that's coming up April 10th is the most weeks I've had to prepare for a fight. But even then, I'm still training both sports because I'm a competitor. I don't want to let one day slip by where I'm thinking someone's outboxing me or someone's out wrestling me. You know what I'm saying?
Stay ready for both options.
Yes.
Should either or ever come,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But back to what we were saying, she had my opponent had a camp. I had 11 days, but I really don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? When I live in the gym, I'm staying in the gym. Like I said, I don't want a day slip by me. So when the opportunity presented itself, and before that, we were having trouble getting fights in MMA and in boxing. Because one, there's not that many girls. Two, everybody wants to win, and let's just say people prefer to take a little bit of an easier fight than an actual challenge. So when this came up, there was no thought about it. It was yes. It was an absolute yes. It was a 126.
6 rounds? 6 rounds?
It was a 6-rounder.
Rounds,
6-rounder, yes, sir. Opening round.
Did you do all 6 rounds?
Yeah, we went to decision. It was controversial decision.
Yeah, I know. So like, I know we talked earlier about just your confidence and how much you enjoy it, and you could see that in your ring walk. You could see that in your preparation. The fact that you're on that big stage, did that change any of that? Did it affect any of that? Or were you still the...
Oh, hell nah, shit. I said, play my music. Play my...
What'd you walk out to?
I walked out to Kara G, and then I switched to Luis Eric Conriquez. You know what I'm saying? I got to do a little mix. Listen, thank God for the DJ. Because at first he's like, we can't do it. It's got to be one song. And I was like,
mix it up together for me.
Please, come on.
You a DJ.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and he did mix it up for me.
You know what?
There was nobody in the arena,
Uh-huh.
but I was dancing like, hey, everybody was watching.
Oh, it was still empty then?
It was the first fight of the night. It was like at like
so
12.
it was early.
It was
early.
like 12:30
yeah,
in the day.
afternoon.
Nobody was there. It was
Did you stay? No, but none of them see this. But I was out there, and you know, Portland, Oregon I had never been before, and it was a certain side of town that is kind of like the I don't know, maybe like the Oakland of Dallas or something like that. I don't know, which is cool. I ain't got nothing wrong with any of the people there. Like it's just not what I expected, right? A bit of a culture shock, if you will, if I could say that, domestically speaking, right? so I pull up, I pull up to the gym, and I'm like, okay, this is dope. It's old school, a vibe, you know, downtown, you know, gym right in front on the street. And then I noticed like these big old rainbow wraps across the thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's colorful, you know. And then it had all these big signs that said everybody's welcome, men, women, trans. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be an interesting weekend. And so, you know, like it was like 25 to 30 people there that were going through the certification, and I'm teaching it, and sure enough, I had some interesting people, and it was cool. Nothing against nobody, you know what I mean? It's just, again.
Let people live.
Well, you know, it came Saturday night. I'm okay, where am I gonna watch the fight? You know, who's showing it? What bars down here, right? And I was calling around. Nobody was showing the fight. I finally found one. And it was like 9 out of 10 out of the bars out there were gay bars, right? Yeah. So, you know, there I am. I'm the only straight guy in a gay bar. And I'm watching it, and they have it up. The sound's off because nobody really cares about it, right? So I'm sitting there for hours. And I'm drinking, but I'm mindful of how many drinks I'm drinking because, you know, it's getting pretty late. Yeah. Crowd's starting to pick up. You know, it's getting more interesting. So I'm sitting there watching the fight like this.
All nervous.
You know what I mean?
Knees crying.
But so that when you were making your PBC debut, that's what I was doing. That's where I was at.
You were in an awkward situation just trying to watch the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only gym I could find. They were hospitable though, man. Some of the most hospitable people in the world, right? Because it's a very progressive, you know, city, if you will. So they see somebody like me, you know, brown tone, come in, they treat me like they owe me reparations or something. Very hospitable.
Not the reparations.
Extra fries and all kinds of stuff. Let me tell you about it. Now, the PBC card though, did that open more doors? Seeing that was the biggest card you ever been on. Yeah. Did that open more doors to more fights and stuff like that after that? Was that like, man, a game changer or?
You know, that was just like that was a month and a half ago, so it wasn't too long ago.
Oh, that's right.
It seems like it was so long ago,
well,
right?
I try not to think about that time in my life.
You try not to think about the stress you went through. But, you know, it wasn't that long ago, but I'll say the right people saw the fight.
Yeah.
Several people from the PBC came to me and were like, the judges got it wrong. Mm-hmm. I think everybody who saw the fight were like, the judges got it wrong. I'm not the first person it happens to, not gonna be the last.
Yeah.
You know, so in the moment.
What weight did you fight that fight at, by the way?
So it was at 26.
26,
which is not my weight class.
It's above your weight class.
Oh yeah. Because boxing, I'm a 118er, 115er. Yeah. I'm not a 126, but.
MMA, what are you usually, typically?
115.
Okay, so same, more or less.
Yeah. But like I said, the opportunity presented itself, and
Were you smaller than your opponent?
Yeah, and my opponent missed weight.
Oh, she was over?
Yeah.
Damn. Damn, there was all kinds of stuff going on.
There was all kinds of stuff going on. But, and you know, when the weigh-in came and she was over, so
the commission allowed you to still take the fight? It wasn't that much of a difference? Or?
No, it was like 3 pounds.
Okay, but still.
Still, right?
Yeah.
No, my coach was on the phone because my boxing coach couldn't be there, and he's like, nah, don't take it. He's like, nah. He's like, but, you know, negotiations happens, and
Shit, I mean, why not? You did it. You
And
dogged it out.
not only why not, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't towards my favor. It wasn't towards my favor, but I'm a dog and I'm gonna still go out there and do what I do.
You might have missed that opportunity
yeah,
anyway.
exactly.
Right?
So in the PBC, the world stage, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say no.
Of course.
I wasn't gonna say not on that stage.
Yeah.
And the fight happens, whatever the scorecards were, what they were, but at the end of it, the people behind the cameras were coming up to me and were like, judges got it wrong. The right people saw it. The right people saw it, and they said it too. We got to bring you back.
So that's
I'm
probably definitely on the future plans. You'll probably be hearing back from them, I'm sure. The outfit was fire too, though. By the way, who made that for you?
So it was a charro suit, so it's a mariachi band suit.
I saw it.
So I found it on Facebook Marketplace.
Wait, you didn't get that made?
No, I found it on Facebook Marketplace.
11-day notice.
11 days.
And you found a full suit?
See, everything falls into place. The dominoes fell right into place. I found the suit because in my head I knew.
On Marketplace?
On Facebook Marketplace.
Some other fighters?
No, it was a lady that was a mariachi.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because
some senora and stuff like
it was
that?
some senora. Like I went to go pick it up at Let Me Truck It Out.
That's dope.
Yeah, because in my head I was like, I kind of seen what the vision, like what I wanted, and that's what I wanted. I want the traditional mariachi, the black one. Yeah. But then I saw this blue one, and I was like,
that's fire.
That was it. That was it. And
you would have thought that you had that custom made, and I wasn't even putting two to do together. I was like, well, if she would have had it custom made, she only had 11 days to do it.
That's why I'm saying things fall into place. And the trunks, Pro Se, the boxing brand Pro Se, I hit him up and I was like, listen, man. He had sent me some gloves before, and I was like, listen, I got less than a week. Can you get some shorts out to me? He put my name on it. He put some patches on it. He said he overnighted it to me. So shout out to Pro Se.
Man, for real.
Yeah. So everything kind of came out. I just like the little jacket, right? I just cut it to fit the gloves, and let's go.
Man, that's fire.
Let's go.
Shout out to that senora from Marketplace at La Michoacana.
Shout out to La Senora from Marketplace.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that was your last fight, right?
Yeah.
Now you got one coming up in Miami.
Next week.
Next week. What day next week?
April 10th, Thursday night.
And when you flying out?
This Sunday.
And what network is that on? How can people watch it?
So it's going to be live on Combate Global YouTube channel, but then on Univision local channels, it's going to be past rewatch pass.
Got it. Yeah. And so now that you got that fight coming up, and not that most fighters don't want to look past what they got coming up, and that's understandable.
Absolutely not.
But you already have other fights already contracted beyond that, yes?
I do. This is a sneak peek.
Yeah.
So
Give us the sneak peek.
This is the sneak peek, guys. I have my second fight. I have 3 fights already contracted, lined up. So April 25th, I'm going to be fighting for Invicta in Chicago. That's also a cage fight. And then June 28th, right here in Frisco in the DFW, I'm going to be fighting for the PFC strawweight world title.
We're going to be at that one. Yeah. You got meeting people already?
No.
Can we come with you?
Come with me.
Yeah, we'll come. We'll interview. He'll love that. He prefers MMA over boxing.
Really?
Yeah, I bring boxers in here all the time.
Why do you prefer MMA over boxing?
I think that to kind of relate to what you've been saying is the freestyle capability. I'd be the one in the boxing ring, like you say, I notice all the openings.
Yeah.
I'm going to take them. So it's like, they have a sport that does that.
Yeah, MMA.
And early on, the Forrest Griffin, the Rampages, Shad Evans, that kind of Anderson Silva got me into it. But Izzy, freestyle bender, that type of style is you don't see it much in boxing until the Whitakers.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, but the MMA is just maybe the cards lately. You can't even say it's more entertaining, but it's just I think I relate more to an MMA fighter.
I say
MMA fight than a boxer.
Now in MMA, it's the wrestlers. They're taking over. That's why the strikers got to make a comeback, man.
And they do. I think you control distance with punch quality too. And
As soon as you throw a kick, that wrestler catches it and it's done.
It's over.
So I bring boxers obviously in here all the time, and he's like, so this is a treat for him. But yes, get us the media passes.
Yeah,
we're there. We'll
you.
interview there. We'll record there. We'll do. My man Judah will be there. Like it'll be dope. Okay, so you got that. What else? Because that was like 3. Miami, Chicago, Frisco.
Frisco.
Okay.
For right now, that's June. So
Nobody contacting you about boxing yet?
I've had a few offers. Here's the thing about boxing, man. I've had a few offers. I negotiate. We get everything set, and then they say no.
The other team, the opponent?
The other team says no.
Why? What are some of the reasons you come in?
You know, I've had someone turn me down because I switched stances.
Oh.
Man.
But you're naturally an Orthodox, right?
I'm naturally Orthodox, but listen, let me be.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Let me
yeah,
switch my feet. Let me do what I do. I don't know if it comes from MMA or it's just a me thing where I'm comfortable in southpaw. I can sit complete 3, 4, 5 rounds just in the southpaw, boxing or in MMA. Huh. I'm comfortable, especially when you have your power hand in the lead position.
Yeah.
I just tee out with the jab, pop, pop.
Yeah. That's how Milo is. Yeah. My guy Milo, yeah.
You just had a coach or someone call about sparring with one of your fighters.
Yeah.
And once you kind of gave him your fighter's credentials, I could hear the coach kind of.
Oh, that's right when you were walking in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back down. I'm like, oh, well,
yeah.
You know, maybe not. Maybe next weekend. So, do you think they kind of see your skill level and then that brings them away, or they see your style? Like you said, switch stance.
Yeah, I'll say on paper, I look like an easy fight because I've had losses. Or in boxing, they see that I'm an MMA fighter. On paper, I'm probably the easiest fight you can take.
Yeah, because they say, oh, but she got an MMA background. Piece of cake. You're gonna be able to outclass her because you're a credentialed amateur and pro boxer. You know what I mean? You're gonna be able to And then surprise bitches, I can outbox you. You're gonna have a dope year. Definitely exciting to hear about.
Yeah, dope life.
Yeah.
I already live a dope life. It's just getting better and better. Yeah.
Man. But that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is
all that stuff coming up. And it's like sounds like everything's just happening fast now, huh?
Yeah, everything's falling right into place. We went from last year not being able to get a fight. Now we got to turn down a fight because I already have the next 2, 3 contracted.
Do you find good sparring locally?
I do. You know, I'm very blessed. I'm very lucky that I have a few women around me that are, world-class quality.
Do you get to spar, like, who do you spar? I know you say you spar Bree.
Yeah.
But Bree's like 147, right?
And? that's Bree, that's the homie. Bree, she said she's a threat to everybody. Bree will be world-class.
Oh,
she is world-class.
Oh, yeah, she is world-class.
She is world-class.
Hell of an amateur pedigree, Team USA. Yeah, she's doing things. Yeah. What about, you ever spar chicken?
I do. I have sparred chicken.
For real?
Yeah. WBO title holder, if I'm not mistaken, or IBF title holder, if I'm not mistaken.
She's closer to your weight, right?
Yeah, she's 118. She is my weight. Yeah, we spar. That's the homie as well. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Chicken.
Shout out to Chicken. Shout out to Bree. Shout out to Alexis. She's also Alexis Mona. She's if I'm not mistaken, she's a 126er.
Yeah.
122 or something like that.
That's dope.
Yeah, so I have great women around me that, it's funny.
You ever spar with boys?
MMA, all my sparring is boys.
What?
Because there's no girls, man.
For real?
We had a shout out to Tashaya. We had fly a world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter from Hawaii. My coach knows her.
Yeah.
To join me for my training camp for a week and a half to
Hawaii?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so speaking of Hawaii. Okay. Tell me about that nickname of yours.
What is Hawaii?
It's a great segue into it. Mulan, right?
Mulan.
How did you get that? Does it come from the movie or something else?
No, the guys were making fun of me in the gym because I when I train I wear my bun up. You know what I'm saying? And my eyes are a little small.
Yeah.
They're just making fun of me, and the fucking nickname stuck. They called me one day, and it just fucking stuck, and that's been my name ever since.
Mulan.
And it goes. I mean, it works,
Yeah, it does.
It works.
It does. Yeah. So, I appreciate you coming on,
for one. Of course.
I like to always ask, like, a few fun questions, something I could come up with. So let me pull them out here.
What you got? I'm nervous now. What are you about to ask?
Let's see. Well, you kind of already answered this. So,
okay.
My first question was, in a boxing match, Do you often feel tempted to kick, elbow, or even grapple with an opponent?
You know, when you say grappling, okay,
Yeah.
there's been a few instances like this last fight. I pushed that bitch to the ground. I did. It happens, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna defend
What did the
myself.
ref say? What the ref say?
He just kind of, he's like, pushed me off and cleaned the gloves up. It's now you say that when you know the rules meeting.
Yeah.
It's been a few times because people know I do MMA. This is what I do, and they're like no grappling, and they always look towards me, and I'm like
overemphasize.
yeah, like no in the clinch.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
clinch is like watch the head, watch the clinch, and they look at me, and I'm like, hey, listen, if I'm getting ragdoll in a boxing fight, you might just see me head kick a bitch.
It comes in.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Boom.
But then that you DQ'd at that point, ain't you?
Shit, listen, if I'm already like losing, fuck it. A bitch getting head kicked.
Oh man, you say that like that's almost inevitable. You know what I mean? All right. My second question.
MMA.
It is a little bit more serious question.
dale.
What would you identify as your top skills or strengths in the ring and in the octagon? Or are they the same in each one?
I will say my number one skill in both is one, my vision. There's my reflexes and what I can see when it comes to fighting in general. It's world class. I know that I have a notch over the majority of my competitors, but two, controlling the distance.
Nice.
Controlling
I'm
the
glad
distance.
You said that.
It's in boxing when I'm inside the clinch and I know how to work the distance, but that also translates inside the cage with the takedowns.
Yeah.
If you can control the distance and time takedowns.
So you're a good judge of your range, your reach, your attributes.
Yes.
And you could probably measure them really quick, regardless of the attributes of your opponent.
Yeah. And so there's moments where I'm a counter fighter.
Yeah.
So if I'm in control of that distance and I can read you well.
How do you typically measure it? Do you do that more visually, or are you like probing and prodding sometimes? I got a lot of guys that depend on that, and that's how they do it.
It depends.
But the ones that could do it purely visually, now that's something else.
Yeah.
Like the Shakurs and shit.
So it depends. If we're talking boxing.
Yeah.
It's that touch, that lead touch, right?
Yeah.
But and you can look just from the initial bell ring.
Yeah.
From the initial bell ring, when you touch gloves like this.
Right there's where you figure it out.
Right there.
That's almost like when I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. Go ahead.
Yeah, but in MMA, it's you almost see I'll throw my lead leg out just to touch your knee. To measure my kick distance, because in MMA it's not about the punch distance, it's about the kick distance. Because the legs are longer than the hands.
Yeah, they're gonna connect beforehand.
So as soon as I start touching my my opponent with my lead leg, start measuring that distance, I can start figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? Because if the legs can touch, step in a little bit closer, the hands are gonna touch.
Yeah. Nice. Third question.
Dale.
And this what got me thinking about asking you this question was, again, looking at your reels and seeing how you have a good time training and pre-competition.
Just live, laugh, love.
How do you mentally prepare for a fight? Describe your pre-fight preparation process. What is your thinking like? Are you listening to music, or do you pray? Like, what does the whole pre-fight preparation process look like for you? What is the mindset?
So from the moment I wake up, listen, music is on around me 24/7. I don't care. To go to sleep, I got a playlist.
Yeah.
But I don't really prepare or have a ritual. I don't have any of that. I do this day to day.
Yeah.
I've been dreaming about this moment since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm just living it out. I'm almost at peace with my day to day. I'm at peace with the fight.
Yeah.
The moment I wake up, breathe in, breathe out. I never stop visualizing. Since the moment I get a fight, I don't stop visualizing my opponent in front of me, how she can move. And when I'm watching,
visualize the fight?
10,000.
Like
10,000
have you ever
times.
seen Sherlock Holmes, the movie with Robert Downey Jr.?
No, I haven't seen it.
But
I know the movie.
He goes into a fight. He's fighting, but before he actually fights his opponent, you've seen it, Judah. He actually plays out precisely what he's gonna do in his head.
Yes.
I'm gonna hit him with this. I'm gonna throw a towel to his face. Then I'm gonna hit him with this. Then I'm gonna go to his ribs. And then as soon as he stops visualizing it, he then goes to execute that in which he actually thought about.
10,000%.
You play it out in detail just like
Since
that?
the moment I know that I have a fight with a certain opponent, and I watch and I watch and I rewatch. Every time I shadow box, I'm in the shower like, bah, bah,
Yeah.
seeing my opponent and how they move and how their body reacts, and seeing myself land the shots, sequences of wrestling.
So
going into lots.
visualization and imagery, if you will,
Yeah.
is a big part of your pre-fight preparation.
Huge part.
And that's important because I'm always telling people about how important that is.
Yeah.
I read another research study recently that suggested that the same neural pathways that an individual uses when they're visualizing particular motor movements and skills and things like that is the same neural pathways that they use when they actually go to physically execute that in which they thought about.
Yeah. And I believe it.
Crazy.
I believe it. And I've been like that since I can remember. No training, 15 years old, but I'm watching myself beat the shit out of the UFC world champion at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Imagination is key.
Yeah. I mean, this is all from imagination. Everything I'm living out here, everything I live out in my day to day, this is what I dreamed about since a kid.
There's a lot of to glean from that, even outside of boxing, right? A lot of people would find themselves being more productive, being more ambitious if they let their imagination run free sometimes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you got to see and enjoy what you're seeing and then have the confidence to go out there and pursue it and chase it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's almost like if you pass it inside your head and if you rerun it in your head, once you have it in front of you, you're like, I've been here before.
Yeah, I always tell people there's 3 stages to a successful attack in boxing. One is preparation. I mean, you got to be thinking about it. You got to be plotting it. You got to be calculating it based on what you know, based on your skills, based on your fundamentals, based on your experience. It's not instinctive. You know, you're relying on things that you already know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Phase 2, though, is actually execution. Meaning you got to do it. You could sit there and you could imagine it all day long, never do it, maybe because you're worried about the outcome or not sure if it's going to land, and you're really just procrastinating.
And funny you said, you know, I've never worried about the outcome of a fight. I'm comfortable with whatever may come. If I win, if I lose, if I get knocked out, if I get a cut, whatever may come, when you're comfortable with every outcome,
you'll execute.
You'll execute.
You'll execute.
And here's I don't know if it's a me thing, but like you said, I visualize every. The moment I wake up in my mornings, I'm visualizing fighting somebody in my head. But once the bell rings, my mind is blank and I'm present. So it goes from being inside my head to being out in the world. And I'm not thinking, when you're in the cage, when you're in the ring, you're not thinking.
And you already played, the scenarios in your head. So, and the thing about executing on those type of things, as you continue to have the confidence and the bravery and the courage to execute, you get better at the execution.
Yeah, more comfortable.
And then accuracy increases, you know, just running the play that you played out begins to increase. You start to do a lot better than you did before. You know what I mean? And the third phase to me was always defense. Okay, what do I do afterward? Get out of the way, move, reset, and let's go back to step 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's the way I think about it. Man, one last question. Last question.
Ask all the questions.
Here's the last one, I promise. How important is it to have a pedicure before an MMA match? And what color do you go with?
Oh my God. How did you know I needed to go?
I don't know.
How did you know?
Because I know it.
Yeah. I like to do white with the middle nail.
How important is it though? Is it like absolutely? I got an MMA fight coming up. I gotta get a pedicure.
Listen, when we can, listen, when there's time, because you know when you're preparing for a fight and when you're on the go, you're always doing something. So if you find the time,
lady, say, look, can you fit me in?
Oh, it's so embarrassing. How did you know? I was literally just texting my best friend like, bitch, I gotta go get my nails done.
I got a fight coming.
I gotta go get my nails done. Yeah. It's important, you know, for the looks of it. But you know what's funny you say that, because so I have calluses on the bottom of my feet from turning on the mats from weights and everything. So if you go,
she's like, oh, you got really rough feet.
Yeah, no, but I'm like, leave that there though, because
No, I take it off.
When they take
They'll argue with you.
When they take it off, and you go back on the mats, it hurts.
Did they ever argue with you about it?
Yeah, they have. And
so
I'm like, no.
So you got to go to a lady that know you already. Then, so she
already
know
got
not to
my
mess
girl.
with
Already
that
got
shit.
my girl.
Leave that there. Leave that
I already
there.
got my girl. You know. But you know, you want to be confident. You want to look good. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? If you look good, you feel good. And when I'm walking into the cage, I want to feel fly as fuck.
Yeah, there you
know
go.
What I'm saying? I put the little shades down. I'm like, let's motherfucking go.
Say, look, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you sharing like the story. It's good to know that you like. Interesting that you two careers. I mean, both combat sports, but boxing, MMA at the same time, and you're consistently doing it. We look forward to seeing you. We're looking forward to those media passes that you're going to give us.
I'm going to give you, I got you.
And man, I appreciate it.
Man, thank you, Josh. Man, I really appreciate the platform. Really appreciate, Judah over here working the cameras. Thank you for the platform. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor. For you to even reach out and say you want to come on. For me, it's an honor. That means that what I'm doing holds a little bit of value to where people are taking notice.
Yeah, no, it does. Chicken Ben's supposed to come on. Tell her I told her.
Mama, I'm gonna hit my girl right now. Like, girl, if you don't hit up my
Tara, I had a good time. Bree even told her to come on.
Yeah.
So I said, now it's two people. Come on, Chicken. Go over there, show Josh some love.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna hit her right now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
We'll get some pictures.
I understood that. You know what I'm saying? That was only for like 5 or 6 months. But after that, if you don't get the fight, it's supposed to be us, and we're both signed to the same promoter. So why are y'all acting like this is so hard to make?
What happened to, why didn't she end up fighting Ebony Bridges again?
Because the opponent for Ebony Bridges fell out.
Got it.
And at the last minute, like I hadn't got back in the gym right after the fight, because I think they called like a week or so, like maybe 10 days after the fight.
Yeah.
And this is what he told me. He said, hey, I told them that you're not going to be ready to fight Ebony Bridges right now.
Your manager told him that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He said, you're not going to be ready to fight Ebony Bridges right now. So they picked me up. They went ahead and sent me over. And I was just like, I guess, but okay, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, maybe I won't be ready because it was just 20 days.